and welcome to another episode of All That Film. Welcome, everyone, to the Sweet 16 of our Decade in Review tourney for All That Film. We're here joined by a slew of other hosts. The siren's already going off on these fire picks that we have gathered here. But we'll get right into it.
Sorry, everybody.
No, you're fine. We'll get right in. We'll get right into it with the first matchup. Two best. Oh no, sorry. I forget that we live in a world where Green Book won Best Picture. One Best Picture winner versus another. Two Best Director winners. Anyway, Parasite versus Roma is the one that I was sorely mistaken on thinking Roma had won Best Picture, but we have everyone besides Adrain voting on this. And this time we actually have 8 total people. Myself, Lindsay, Theo, Angelis, Matt, Todd, and Turtle. So a lot of fun here. I'll let Lindsay go first. Parasite versus Roma. Where are you voting here?
I'm voting with Parasite because it's the best.
All right. An early lead for Parasite. Theo, where are you leaning?
You know, this is tough because I do like both films a lot. And they're both really worthy, I think. And my personal inclination is I really love Alfonso's films generally, and but Parasite's just so hard to beat, you know, like it's fucking Parasite. So I just gotta go with Parasite.
Angelis, you are up next. I'm pretty sure where you're siding on this matchup.
Yeah, I have to pick Parasite. I don't like Roma that much. So, and yeah, Parasite is amazing. So, Parasite.
All right. And that's a 3-0 lead so far. And I think, Matt, you get to decide if this is the nail in the coffin for Roma.
Oh man. Well, we're just beating a dead horse at this point.
This is killing me.
But yeah, Parasite, definitely. Best Picture winner, best foreign language film. It did won for Oscars, man. It's just like, but critically acclaimed by old racist white men and literally everyone else. So it's like it's an everybody movie.
Oh my god!
Really.
Todd and Turtle, would you have gone Parasite on this one, or?
I was all Parasite on this one.
Same. It's gonna be Parasite.
Okay. Then I would have been the lone Roma supporter.
Whoa,
I think it's
cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really close. I this is difficult because I don't know, because Parasite went against Lady Bird, and Lady Bird is also a film that I love too, but it's like, oh well, it's Parasite, and for whatever reason on this one, there's just something about the way Alfonso Cuarón talks about life in an interesting way in Roma that I don't know. Both of them are important, so it's almost like a coin flip for me. But I was going Roma before. Maybe I should have let myself vote first, so there was a little bit of suspense.
Roma Rose over here.
Yeah, we'll move on to the next matchup. Theo, you're going to be up first for this one. We have this is actually a little bit of an upset matchup. We have the favorite versus the 15th seed, Long Day's Journey into Night.
Ooh. Oh man. Yeah, this is tough because I actually really like the favorite. Like it's genuinely incredible. And if I may, I really, really love that one a lot. I think that were this matchup something like Moonlight or, you know, Parasite, maybe I shouldn't allude to that. But for example, although I love Long Day's Journey to Night, like that's just one of my favorites, there's a weight to those movies that I would vote for over. And I don't totally know if the same thing carries over to the favorite, even if it is like actually my favorite of Yorgos's films. I think he in the future may be more remembered for his like earlier stuff. So I will be voting Long Days for this one. But both are great. I really like The Favorite a lot.
All right, Todd, you actually get a vote that matters this round before it's already predetermined. Which of the two are you going to be picking?
I appreciate that. I love both of these films. I just love one a little bit more. Long Day's Journey into the Night is one of the most amazing like visual experience. I love that film a lot. But The Favorite is sincerely one of my favorite films ever. I just love it. It's my favorite Yorgos film. I'm just a big fan of it. So I vote The Favorite.
Nice. I don't know where Lindsay sides with this, so we might end up with a tie. But in this matchup, it's a little bit difficult because it's almost like these two films are not my horses in this race for the tourney, if that makes sense. Like, they're both very good, but they're not like ones that I'm like, oh, yes, The Favorite and Long Days. Like, those are the two that have to win. So it's almost like there's not as much of a drive. It's like, oh, well, both of these could go on and it would be fine. Because I do think you're right, Theo. If this had came down to something with a little bit more importance, I think it does become an easier matchup. But I'm going to go with The Favorite because up until that point, I wasn't really a fan of – and I'd only seen The Lobster, but I wasn't really a fan of Yorgos' comedy. And I think that film's just tremendous in the performances and how they sort of – move the plot along. I think is a really good comedic script. So that's gonna be my pick. But Lindsay, you get to decide if this is a tie or not.
It is not going to be a tie. I have to go with The Favorite. For similar reasons as you, Hey, I wasn't sold on Yorgos until I saw that, and I was just like so blown away. By how funny it was, but how dark it was, and the performances, everything. I just really love that movie. So I'm sorry. Yeah, The Favorite.
All right, The Favorite will go up against Parasite next round.
Wow.
So
we'll wonder who's gonna win that one.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah. But the next one we have is also slightly in danger of being a tie. We'll see how this goes. Annalise, you are up first with this third matchup. Gone Girl versus The Farewell, two films that are not similar. What are you thinking here?
Oh my god, this is actually really hard because I love both movies. I think The Farewell is such a personal story and it conveys so much emotion. And oh my god, wait, I'm just trying to put into words what I feel, but I'm gonna go with Gone Girl. Just because, I don't know, it's just one of my favorite thrillers. Yeah, Gone Girl.
Nice. Todd, where are you siding with this tough matchup?
This was tough for me too, because I really enjoy both films a lot. And whoa.
Oops, sorry.
This came no problem.
Sirens all over the place.
Oh, they're coming. Like
I was just worried. One of these films I think I enjoy watching more and I'll probably see more times in my life, but one of them I think is probably maybe a better overall film and more important. And so I decided to go with that one. And so I vote for The Farewell.
All right. Solid.
Awesome.
Turtle, you're up. It's 1-1. What are you picking?
Ooh. I think ooh. I was hoping to just go with the consensus on this one, to be honest.
Yes, the consensus of a tie.
All right,
Turtle
I vote
vote
for
not
both.
to vote. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean both like incredible lead performances, but I think I'm going to go with Gone Girl. It's just an incredible film. David Fincher, one of my favorite directors. Gillian Flynn, one of my favorite writers. And, Gone Girl was a cultural moment.
It truly was.
Oh God. This is tough because I rewatched Gone Girl. Not necessarily for this, just because my girlfriend wanted to check it out. And I think Gone Girl is amazing.
To watch with your girlfriend.
Yeah, of course. Giving her ideas. But I think Gone Girl, watching it a second time, it almost, I'm not saying this like lacking empathy or anything, but it's almost like comedic in how like evil like these ideas are, these twisted things that they're showing on screen. Just because they'll like deadpan to like schlubby Ben Affleck and he's trying to come up with a plan, but I don't know. With all that said, I think I'm still gonna go with The Farewell. And I think what tends to be the reason for that is I walked out of that movie being like, oh, well, this is gonna be like everywhere because I ended up seeing it early, and like it never really has gotten that cultural status, unfortunately. And like that's not to say Gone Girl is overhyped by any means at all. There's a reason it's like you were saying, Turtle. There's a reason it took over the world for a second. But part of, and I know there's going to be a couple of people that are like, that doesn't make sense, and I completely understand that. But like that's part of like my rationale for this, where it's like, oh well, The Farewell is just as good as Gone Girl, and still no one's talking about like this tremendous story. But Lindsay, where are you going to go as it's back tied up?
Yeah, I do. I really, really like both of these movies a lot. But yeah, I'm gonna go with The Farewell. I think it's one of the best movies I've ever seen, and it's hard for a movie to like emotionally impact me as much as a movie like The Farewell did, where I was just like crying my entire body, and I just left that movie just being like blown away by how beautiful and yeah, I really love that movie. And I know Gone Girl was a huge deal, but I think Farewell is a better film.
And Amy Dunn is the best superhero origin. We can all agree.
I think she's a great character. I do think she's a really great character. I think The Farewell explores things that we don't see as often as we do with movies like Gone Girl. So yeah, I'm going with The Farewell.
That's a good point.
All right. Theo, you get to decide tie or not again with this.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's honestly tough because, like, for similar reasons, I think I'd try to concede my personal bias over like something that is significant. And Gone Girl definitely has that more than their Farewell, I think. I personally think it's really hard. I feel like in this case there may just be something wrong, or not wrong. Like maybe I'm reading it more into it, but it does feel like this is a movie where, like, unlike Long Days, The Farewell does have a surprising amount of like cultural force within people who are like maybe a little more into film. It's just got like a recognition in that sense. So yeah, this is tough, but my personal leaning would be for The Farewell.
Nice. And The Farewell moves on.
Yeah, I have also seen both films.
What? You didn't react to this one?
Oh, an upset.
So yeah, I'm here as well. I'm raising my hand.
You didn't react to the message.
Shrek.
This is that moment in the wrestling match when the surprise wrestler appears and their theme song goes, and everyone's like, "What?
It's the Undertaker."
Oh, I'm the Undertaker then. All right, that's cool with me. All right. So yeah, what everyone else is pointing out, Farewell has a very personal story to tell and has a very interesting point of view that doesn't really get said a lot in films. But Fincher's direction and Flynn's script is near Hitchcockian with the amount of thrills and suspense and just power that it has, if that makes any sense. It just keeps you on your toes. Completely too many jaw-dropping moments in the whole film. There's too many moments that I can go like, oh, I did not expect that to happen. I did not expect that to happen. Purely on a cinematic experience, I have to go with where my whole body was taken by the film and just completely in awe. I have to go with Gone Girl, which leaves this as a tie.
Well, gonna interject here.
No, it's not.
It was
It's not?
already at.
Oh wait, yeah.
It was already at 4-2.
I will
Theo
murder
could
a
have
man.
tied it at 3.
I'm gonna murder a person real quick. I'll be right back.
Thank you for standing up for
That's
us.
why. Yeah, no.
I thought it was a tie. I'm sorry.
when Matthew was like, "Don't worry," I knew I was like, "Oh wait, he's probably gonna go Gone Girl to try to tie this back up," but it's 4-2.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good.
Stan, now your vote doesn't matter.
Wait, Matthew, did you
Ouch.
not? Have you seen
I did
Moonlight
react
versus
to it.
Whiplash?
I have not.
Hey, I forgot that I have a meeting in
Apologies.
1 minute. I have to go.
Oh,
I'm so sorry. I'll be back. This is probably a short meeting. I'll be back on. Sorry.
Okay. No,
Okay,
no.
bye.
you're good. I'll leave a note for myself.
Bye.
Okay, bye. I'll hopefully be back.
Lindsay,
I
do you want to
reacted
message
to C1.
your picks and maybe we can get Adrain to pretend to be you?
She's good.
She's gone.
Yeah, I
left.
can try and fill in. Hang on.
Oh no.
Okay, well, is this good enough? I don't know. No. You know what? I'm backing out.
No, that was great.
You need
That was
you need the
great.
profile picture. You need the Margot Robbie Harley Quinn profile
Shit,
picture.
right.
That really sells it.
Well, I guess we'll figure out here in a sec if
I think
Lindsay's
Todd's is
vote.
closer to that.
But we'll figure out
Color-wise,
here in a sec with
shape-wise.
Lindsay gone. But we'll move on to the next matchup: Moonlight versus Whiplash. Todd, you are up first. Which of these two are you leaning towards?
For me, both really good films. Whiplash was the intensity is what stands out to me. Moonlight was the emotion. I'm gonna go with Moonlight.
Ooh. All right, Turtle. Where are you leaning here?
Ooh, I think you know the answer. It's gonna be Moonlight. It is one of my favorite films. I think it is probably the film for me, if that makes any sense.
Nice.
no, it doesn't.
Oh, okay. Shut up.
Elaborate.
Care to elaborate a little bit?
No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you, Theo. Thank you.
It makes sense. There's a lot of repression when you paint
I
a triptych about a gay black man growing up.
Where are you going with this?
Florida, in Florida of all places, yes.
In Florida, true.
Yeah.
There's a lot of repression in Florida.
There's a lot of ways that this could go.
All right. Moonlight takes the 2-0 lead. Adrain, where are you going on this one?
So I was right on board with Todd. Just the intensity of Whiplash, it had me gripped the entire time. Moonlight was a very emotional film. It touched me emotionally in a way that I didn't think it would through all three parts. But Whiplash is what kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time, and I got more out of that movie personally, and I think it applies to a lot more people personally than Moonlight does in that way. So my pick is Whiplash.
Yes, the film bros are here. What's interesting about Moonlight is I don't remember why we saw it, but I remember critics being like, "Whoa, Moonlight's really good. You should check it out." And it was a movie we had heard zero coverage about. So me and my three friends saw it in the theater. We were the only ones that went. And for whatever reason, like it just I don't get there as much as other people have. And that's one of those movies where I'm like, "Oh no, like I'm not at the same level that everybody else is, but I'm so glad this is a film that everybody's like, this is what I needed." However, Whiplash is like, it's like everything that I've ever wanted in a movie. And Damien Chazelle just has this like this twisted, thrilling sense to him about a lot of things that like I'm sure he's dealt with as a musician. And I just feel like a lot of it is almost like therapeutic in some ways, being like, oh, well, you have to do X to be the greatest. Like it's almost him like wrestling with himself, where it's like, oh, well, was all this work really worth it? And And I think both films do create a discussion for different things. But in terms of like the movie that I keep going back to, it's definitely Whiplash, which I hate to break this to you, Adrain. I'm sure if Lindsay was here, there is no way. I'm pretty sure she'd lean Moonlight.
No contest.
Yeah.
No contest.
Film sisters, come on.
Well, it's a good thing that Lindsay is here because her opinions have changed recently. And see, the thing is, I'm leaning more towards Whiplash nowadays. So,
Lindsay, why are you leaning towards Whiplash? Why is that?
I just love Miles Teller.
Oh my god, Lindsay will never say that.
It's the best J.K. Simmons film I've ever seen, hands down.
It's not saying much. No,
my favorite genre of movie is old white men yelling loudly at
My favorite is when drum boy bang drum. Therefore,
she does have Moonlight as her 6th most favorite movie of all
Lindsay,
time.
were you also
Unfortunately,
is that why you have a loyalty to
Whiplash at number 5? Is that what you're going to say, Theo?
Oh man,
Drum boy bang
drum.
This was orchestrated.
Oh no. Lindsay would have picked Moonlight for sure.
Yeah,
when we talked about this, like, I'm not gonna lie, this was the one that I was like, yes, finally, the film bros will beat the film sisses. And this is the one. Honestly, this one was interesting to me because for whatever reason, a lot of people are like, well, you have to like Damien Chazelle or Barry Jenkins. You can't like both. Pick your side. And it's like, okay, well, both are good, but they wound up against themselves in our tourney, which I thought was pretty funny. But yeah, Moonlight will move on.